สวัสดีค่ะสวัสดีคุณโอมค่ะสวัสดีค่ะ so everyone here uh okay I'm having a brain block so everyone here who would like to say hi to Jonathan and me please say hi this is gonna be an English session ก็สวัสดีทุกท่านนะคะวันนี้จะขอพูดภาษาอังกฤษนะคะแต่จริงๆอาจารย์เนท่านพูดไทยได้ใช่ไหมคะcould you say hi to Better Hitch in English and in Thai please อาจารย์เนท่าน
Oh, in Thai? Okay.
a bit a bit
Good.
a bit
Sure. Good morning, everyone.
อื
Very nice to
ม
be with you today. My name is Nathan, John
อืม
Nathan, and I am an accent coach.
อืม
I was based in Thailand for many years. Right now, I'm in the United States.
อืม
สวัสดีครับทุกคน
เออ
อ่า ผมเป็นอาจารย์ผมชื่ออาจารย์เนธานเป็นโค้ชปรับสำเนียงครับเมื่อก่อนอยู่ประเทศไทยมาหลายปีตอนนี้อยู่อเมริกา
อืม
อ่าดูแลพ่ออายุ87 ปี
อื
ก็เนี่ยอา
ม
จารย์คิดว่กลับบ้านช่วยเขา
อื
อ่
ม
าตอนนี้เขาดีขึ้นแรงขึ้นก็คิดว่าน่าจะกลับประเทศไทยอีกไม่นาน
อื
maybe
ม
สิ้นปีนี้หรือปีหน้าครับ
อืม oh that's pretty long sentence
I get to
โอเค
practice. I can practice Thai.
thank you so everyone อาจารย์เนท่านเป็นอ่าI'm gonna talk in Thai a bit เป็น accent coach คือประเด็นคืออย่างนี้ค่ะเวลาที่เราพูดเดี๋ยวจะกลับไปพูดภาษาอังกฤษนะแต่เล่าให้ฟังก่อนคือ accent coach ก็คือหมายถึงเวลาเราพูดเนาะเสียงสำเนียงเราเนี่ยมันจะไม่ได้เหมือนฝรั่งมากเพราะฉะนั้นก็คือเราก็อยากให้พูดให้มันดู professional ใช่ไหมคะเพราะฉะนั้นวันนี้ถ้าใครอยากจะให้อาจารย์เนท่านโค้ชนะคะเดี๋ยวเราจะลองมีเซสชั่นไลฟ์กันก็คือกดจอยซูมเข้ามาแต่ว่าถ้าอยากจะเซ y hi เฉยๆก็สามารถพิมพ์ในซูมหรือว่าใน Facebook ก็ได้นะคะ so first we're not going to go into graph yet I'm just going to ask you some common questions so because you have been accent coach for a long time what is so let's say in everyday conversation what is most common thing that people could improve when they let's say when they are starting presentation so easiest thing like the common mistakes or common things that people can say to be more professional when they start presentation so normally when I start presentation I may say good morning everyone that kind of stuff so what do you think is a common phrase
Common phrase to begin. I think yeah. First of all, you have to greet, and in English, you're going to greet by the time of the day, morning, afternoon, or
mm-hmm,
evening,
mm-hmm,
and introduce yourself would come next,
mm-hmm,
and thank everyone for being there,
mm-hmm,
and then go right to explain the topic of what are you going to talk about and why are you talking about it. So greet, introduce, thank,
mm-hmm,
and then an overview of your
mm-hmm,
topic. So good afternoon, everyone. My name is Nathan Mills. Thank you for joining our live stream today. Today, I want to talk about how to present graphs and also how to improve your accent when presenting a graph. Like that,
mm-hmm.
4 steps.
ก็ so สำหรับทุกท่านนะคะอาจารย์จะพูดสกิปมาไทยบ้างเนอะก็คืออาจารย์เนี่ยท่านกำลังเล่าให้ฟังว่าโอเคเวลาที่เราคุยเนาะhow could we create more professional so what is the phrase that you use again uh today I would like to present is that correct
Yes.
what do you use
Yes.
I would like to present
Today, today
today
I would
I
like
would
to present. Yeah. So you're going to use will or would, kind of a future tense,
Mhm.
because you haven't presented yet, right? So at the beginning, you're going to say, I will talk about, or I would like to present. Either way is fine, but it has
okay
sort of a future tense to it.
mm.
Then at the end of your talk, you're going to use past tense, right? Today I talked about.
Okay. So would like and then talked. So okay, I would like to present. I will talk about, which is great actually. Yeah, it will talk about is a pretty easy word. So what about the topic that you're gonna present? So I want to talk about, let's say we would like to talk about, okay, we would like to talk about graph today. And how would you suggest that, okay, this presentation gonna last long 30 minutes, and what we have 3 agendas, how could you use the tense in this one?
Sure, you're still going to use future tense because you haven't really started from your first point, right? An overview is not really part of your presentation. So you would say, in my case, so today I would like to present how to talk about graphs. First, I will show you a graph and explain how to introduce it, and then I will, again, show you how to use intonation to describe it naturally. And finally, I will present linking. Now, you don't have to emphasize will like I am doing now. I'm emphasizing will to make sure you notice it. But your overview should be future tense.
Okay. So break down what you are saying. You are saying things in three part. So first I will talk about, so this is the first phase. First I will talk about graph, and then you use and then, right? I
Yes, and
forget.
then.
And then
Then.
we'll talk
Next is
about,
fine. And then
okay,
or
and
next.
then next we will talk about, is it okay? We will talk because it's you and me. So I will talk about,
Yeah.
or
Yeah. Using we includes like you and me, together, we do this together. So using we is a good technique as well. It includes the audience.
okay. And then we will talk about annotation in graph. And
Mhm.
finally, I like the word, and finally, so people know that, okay, the third part is gonna be about so let me ask the audience for you first. So I think a lot of people coming in today, actually. Normally we don't have much people, or maybe it's a little bit late at night. For those who are joining us today, at 9 in the nighttime, what would you like to learn today, or what is the problem that you would like as an attempt to help, when you present in English? ใครที่จอยเข้ามานะคะเมื่อกี้มีใครบ้างนะคุณโอมเซให้กับพวกเราเนาะwhat would you like to know today, and what is the problem that you normally encounter when you present in English? Let us know,
Okay.
and then
Thank you for this session.
ขอบคุณ
Actually, I
ค่ะ
am a student of Ajanet
โอ
very
เค
long
โอเค
time, and I just finished the course from Ajanet maybe last 2 months. And today I just want to just a review because Ajanet sent me the link and the poster from your website, from your Facebook page. For me, maybe just inconvenient to participate much. I just to listen only because I know Janet really well.
ขอบคุณคุณ
Maybe
โอ
let
ม
other guys to share to you what they want for today. Okay.
ขอบคุณคุณโอ
Thank
ม
you.
ค่ะ thank you so much
Thank
ข
you,
อบคุณคุณโอ
Om.
ม
How are you?
I'm good ครับอาจารย์ Good.
ขอบคุณมากเลยค่ะanyone else
He's very good teacher very good my best teacher for me
เนี่ย
in
โอ้โห
language. If anyone want to improve the English with the native, I suggest to learn with him. Yeah.
นี่ขอบคุณคุณโอ
Thank
ม
you.
ค่ะ
Sweet words.
anyone else otherwise anyway we'll go on, and then if you guys want to ask, this is a good time to get a free accent reduction session. So first, we're gonna start with graph because obviously, we are bearish, and I think it's an easy way for people to gather, what we're talking, what normally we talk in daily life presentation. So let's say we have this graph is about Apple product revenue. I choose this one because it's quite easy, and people grasp the idea that okay, there is a lot of product that you use iPhone, you have seen iMac and iPad everywhere. Everyone is wearing smartwatch. So this one is about how from on the left, 2007 Apple start create Mac, and then they create a lot of sales in other products on the right. So this is a normal short version of it. So let's say this is my presentation. I want to tell people about this graph. How should I start, Nathan? Like, how could I describe a graph? This one.
Okay. Should I share share a slide? Is that okay? Or just speak?
Go ahead.
Okay, give me just a moment.
Sure.
So I've prepared a few slides that I can use, and
Okay. Wow, you
okay,
have
can you
a
see that?
slide.
Oh
Okay.
yeah, I did this late at night. So for just a general introduction, the way to begin, here are some phrases that you can use.
Mhm.
I'll show you a complete example with the graph that you shared in the next slide. So, this graph shows you, take a look at this. If you look at this, you will see, I like you to look at this. This chart illustrates the figures. It doesn't matter which one you use. They're all good for just a general introduction to a graph, excuse me, a graph. So let's take your graph that you have, and this is how I would adjust it just for this particular topic. So this graph shows you Apple's product revenue between 2007 to 2023. One mistake that I see from presenters, they will read text from their graph, but they don't make it into a grammatical sentence. So even though the word between is not in the graph, you need the word between to make it grammatical and to
Okay.
make it smooth, between 2007, and actually that hyphen should be to 2023.
Between is for timeline, right? Between 2007 to
Right.
2020.
Yeah, for time.
Okay. Go ahead.
Apple's product revenue is the topic, so I can keep using that. It's already grammatical. But at number 3, if you look at this, you will see Apple's revenue divided by product. So here I'm manipulating the text and making my own sentence, but it has all the key words. Divided by is, as you can see, they have iPhone, services, accessories, iMac, iPad. So I'm going to use divided by to describe that.
Okay.
Or the revenue from Apple's products. I could say it that way. Apple's revenue divided by product, or revenue from Apple's products. So a good presenter will take the text from a slide and be able to manipulate it and change it grammatically. That would be very good and sounds very professional when you can do that. Do you want me to stop, and did you want to follow up in Thai, or just want me to keep going?
Okay, I can follow up a bit in Thai so people would
Sure.
understand. So to recap สำหรับทุกท่านค่ะคือจริงๆอาจารย์ recap เฉยๆน้อยง่ายคือมันมีคำว่า between ที่ชอบมากๆก็คือปกติมันจะเป็นอย่างเงี้ยถ้าเราอ่านกราฟภาษาไทยใช่ไหมเอาจริงภาษาไทยบางทีเราก็นัวๆเนาะไม่รู้จะพูดว่าอะไรแต่ว่า อันเนี้ยค่ะถ้าเราพูดเป็นภาษาอังกฤษเนี่ยอาจารย์ในท่านคืออย่างแรกคือใช้ timeline ก่อนคือใช้คำว่า between เนาะก็คือ this graph which shows Apple product revenues แล้วก็ between 2007 to between 2007 and to 2023 right correct
You
between
can
two
say and or two.
and or two okay it's right away ก็คือ between 2007 to 2023อันนี้คืออย่างแรกแล้วก็สมมติว่าถ้าเราจะบอกว่าโอเคแตกออกสมมติว่ามันเป็นคำนี้ว่าแตกออกภาษาไทยเนี่ยค่ะแบบรายได้แตกออกเป็นอะไรบ้างหรือแบ่งย่อยเป็นอะไรบ้างก็คือจะเป็นด้านล่างที่อาจารย์เนท่านเขียนก็คือ this graph gives you a breakdown of Apple ก็คือ breakdown ก็คือแตกออกเนาะก็คือ breakdown of Apple's product revenue นะคะแล้วก็อันนี้ก็เป็นคำพูดที่คิดว่าจริงๆแล้วคือทำให้เราแบบได้อะไรมากขึ้นหรือแบ่งออกเป็นแล้วก็เป็น divided by product it is divided not divide yes อาจารย์เนท่าน
Divided, yeah. You have to use ed because it's more of a passive form.
Okay so okay let's go to next one anyway I'll pause this first and anybody have any questions or anything let me look at our live first wow no questions okay let's go I think a lot of people are actually watching but nobody is asking questions but anyway if ถ้าเกิดว่าใครอยากจะกดซูมพูดกับเราบอกกันเลยนะคะกดยกมือก็ได้ค่ะแล้วก็เดี๋ยวยังไงถ้าอยากให้อาจารย์เนท่านช่วยแบบบอกว่าคำพูดนี้เราพูดถูกไหมหรือ accent reduction ยังไงก็บอกได้หรือเดี๋ยวอาจารย์จะเป็นตัวอย่างให้เผื่อว่าให้อาจารย์เนท่านสอนก็ได้ว่าถ้าแบบจะ accent reduction ทำยังไงได้บ้าง I have this problem with the word questions actually how do I sound when I talk questions how could I improve I don't like my sound when I say this word questions.
Questions?
Could you
Oh, it sounds very nice. Actually, there are two ways you can pronounce it. You can pronounce it with the T or without the T. So questions is fine. Question, or question.
Okay. So
Either
question.
way, native speakers will use both ways. Maybe it depends where they come from.
Okay. How do I sound?
I say, what do I say? You have a question. I say question, no T.
You say questions, no T.
Yeah.
Yes,
Question.
I think when there's T questions, I think the sound look a bit short in the end. So anyway, it's just me illustrate how to.
But actually, it sounds really good. It sounds natural. Sounds very clear. Question. That tin sound is actually very natural.
Okay, thank you. Anybody นะคะ ก็คือ ถ้าเกิดว่าใครอยาก accent reduction ตอนนี้ยกมือได้เลยนะคะแบบว่าแบบเปลี่ยน you can are and then talk to Nathan and me anyway let's go next so next graph
Okay.
so we learn
Go back a
breakdown
little bit.
divided by right okay
Yeah. Go back to here. If you want to, after you introduce the slide, you'll probably want to go and point out some particular specific data from the slide. So you can start with, as you can see, this clearly shows, from this, we can understand how or why, depending on what you want to say. Or the area of the chart that is interesting is, yes, there are two is's here. That's okay. It has to do with grammar. So let's look at how these can be used for this particular slide. Let me delete something there. There we go. Okay, so as you can see, the iPhone is the source of Apple's largest amount of revenue, which reached over $200 billion in 2023. So what I want to point out here is the comma which. All right, so this is really effective in writing or speaking. When you want to include the dollar amounts or a year, some type of number, right, numerical information, make your statement right? The statement is
Mhm.
the source of Apple's largest amount of revenue, the iPhone. And
Mhm.
then when you want to add the data, use comma,
Mhm.
which reached over $200 billion. So separate it a little bit. And I'll show you in a moment, I'll show you how to do that with your voice. Because
Okay.
yeah, in accent reduction, what I teach students is that you have to account for punctuation in your
Mhm.
voice. Intonation is that tool.
Okay.
Punctuation in writing, intonation in speech. Right, but we'll come to that at the end. Another example, this clearly shows the iPad's contribution to Apple's revenue. So I'm using some bigger words here, contribution, and I'm using this word modest. So iPad down here is the smallest amount.
Mhm.
Of course, I'd be
Didn't
very
say
happy with
didn't
$28
say
billion.
yeah. Modest. It's
Modest.
it's not a good word in $28 billion and say modest. Modest เป็นแบบถ่อมตนอะไรเงี้ยทุกคนแบบแค่แต่ but I like the word modest because it's modest compared to others. Right? It's not
Right.
a large
It's
bunch of okay.
Yeah, so that's a good word. It's the smallest amount, even though
It's
that's a
very
lot of
nice.
money.
Okay, what else?
And then compared to, this is a great phrase to use compared to when you want to, of course, compare. You want to make
Mhm.
your statement, and then compared to what? Compared to all of the products, then you just say other products. Or
Mhm.
maybe you want to compare to, compared to the iPhone, a specific product, that would be fine too. All right, this one, I'm just making up my own conclusion. From this, we can understand why. So this sounds like a conclusion, not something on the graph, but I'm using the information to make my own conclusion. So from this, we can understand why Apple invests so much into marketing its iPhone, because
Mhm.
obviously it's $200 billion.
Mhm.
Right, so that's a conclusion. And the area of the chart that is interesting is, so yes, I said you had to use two ises because that is interesting. It's describing the chart.
Mhm.
And the area that we're going to talk about is what? The revenue from services, which seemed insignificant in 2015. So it's very
Mhm.
small. So insignificant is like modest. And seemed means doesn't mean it's insignificant. It means it might look that way.
Mhm.
But still, we're talking about billions of dollars, so it's still a good thing. But in 2023, it was the second highest productive source of revenue. Again, I'm
Productive
manipulating the
source.
keywords grammatically, and that's a great thing to do if you can do it. Okay, do you want to add a little comment
Yes, of
to
course.
that?
So actually, I will add in English first. I think you read what we are doing here is data storytelling, but you did a pretty good job for someone who is teaching English. That's I really admire you. So first thing first, people for the audience that listen to us. So what Ajahn Nathan did is actually break down things into um noun, like the head of the sentence, and then the verb that they did. So let's say there is an iPhone, and what they did is they are the source of Apple largest revenue. We are going to grammar later, but what you did is actually quite impressive in pattern. You have um I want to say I'm still looking for a lead actor. That's what I'm looking for. So you start sentence with a lead actor. So iPhone, iPads, and then you follow up with how they contribute to the revenue. So so that's a pretty good structure. So I'm going to go into Thai now. So สำหรับคนที่ทำ data storytelling ค่ะอันนี้คือดีมากๆเลยเขาเริ่มด้วยตัวละครเอกก่อนในประโยคอะไรเงี้ยก็คือแบบ iPhone เนี่ยค่ะหรือ iPad แล้วจากนั้นก็บอกว่า iPhone หรือ iPad อะทำอะไรเช่นเป็น source of เป็นแบบเขาใช้คำว่าแทนที่จะพูดว่าเป็นแบบ iPhone แบบเป็นรายได้ส่วนใหญ่ของ Apple ใช่ไหมคะคำว่าเป็นรายได้ส่วนใหญ่ก็คือเราแบบอาจารย์ใช้คำว่าเป็นรากของอะไรอย่างเงี้ยเป็นรากของแบบอันนี้คือแปลให้เวอร์ๆเนาะ is the source of Apple largest amount of revenue เนี่ยก็คือเหมือนแบบโอ้โหแบบเป็นแบบรากฐานของแบบเนี่ยของ revenue ของ Apple อะไรเงี้ยอันนี้คืออยากเล่าให้ฟังว่าที่อาจารย์เขาใช้อะค่ะแล้วก็อีกอย่างหนึ่งก็คือที่ชอบมากๆที่อาจารย์เขาใช้ก็คือว่าตัวละครเอกใช่ไหมคะ iPads เหมือนเดิมก็คือเมื่อกี้บอกว่า is the source ตัวนี้พูดถึงเป็น contribution to Apple revenue อะไรเงี้ยแล้วก็เมื่อกี้ที่คุยกับอาจารย์ในท่านว่า was modest ก็คือแบบจริงๆก็คือจะบอกว่า small right oh but we didn't say it is small we just say it was modest ก็คือเป็นคำที่มันดูแบบเท่กว่าเนอะ it's pretty cool like the revenue is modest it's pretty great ก็คือแบบ tomorrow you can take this word into meeting room and then say something with modest มันคำใหม่วันนี้นะคะ so that's it for me I'm just doing some recap
Okay.
ถ้าเกิดว่า for you guys who who is listening and then how do you say who are listening or who is listening who are listening for you
Who
guys
are
who are
listening?
listening who are
Yeah, because we have
listening
more than one.
yeah yes for you guys who are listening please feel free to comment any kind I'm more than happy to have Ajahn Nathan have a accent coach reaction with you go ahead Ajahn Nathan so next one
Okay. I just want to make one comment about I like how you call it storytelling. That's an interesting way to look at it. Yeah. Um, I teach IELTS, so if you plan on taking the IELTS exam, the writing portion actually makes you write about a graph. So
yes
maybe
yes
that's
yes
how I'm able to do that is because I'm
yes
teaching like for the IELTS. But yeah, that these are sentences that I would show students how to do it. But I never thought
I
of it as
remember yes
storytelling. That's interesting.
I remember when I take IEL and then there are two paragraph and then they're forcing
Right.
us to write something about this two paragraph. Yes, I
Yeah.
remember it. Okay, go
Okay.
ahead.
Well, let's do some accent reduction
Okay,
techniques.
of course.
So for me, accent reduction begins at intonation. That's the foundation. In Thai, of course, you have tones on every word. Right? Every word must have the correct tone. And English, we don't have tones on every word, but we do have intonation on every sentence. And the root of intonation is tone. So there is something similar there between the two. I think we can grasp that concept quite easily. There are three intonation patterns in English, like there are 5 tones in Thai. And we're just going to look at 2 of them that are relevant for this topic today. One's called pausing, and the other's called falling. Pausing, you're going to use at commas. So remember, in writing, you use a comma, and I said in speech, you have to recognize that comma in speech in some way. That's pausing. And keywords are also, you use pausing. Keywords in the middle of the sentence. Falling is at the end of the sentence where you have full stop. All right, so for this page, we're only going to look at pausing. This is what pausing looks like. It goes up, it goes down, and then it jumps back up again. So listen to me as I say the sentence.
Okay.
The graph shows you Apple's product revenue between 2007 to 2023. Product revenue.
It's
So
very musical product.
yeah, a little musical, isn't it? So I emphasize the key parts with the pause. In the second sentence, I have one word, but I have to do the same thing, but it's more compressed. Take a look at this graph, which shows Apple's product revenue between 2007 to 2023. So
Ah,
graph,
graph. Okay.
yeah,
Let me repeat. Could you say graph again?
graph,
Graph.
graph, like that.
Graph. That's quite
Yes.
hard. Okay. Let me do it one more time. Could you say it again? Just one more time.
Sure. So you're going to go up and you're going to go down like a roller coaster. It's a roller coaster ride. Okay. Graph.
Graph. That's pretty hard. I mean, it's pretty hard to not sound, I don't know, not sound ridiculous. Graph. Graph.
But it sounds
Yeah.
natural to me. Don't worry.
Graph.
But we're going to compress it and say it a little faster. Graph.
Graph. Graph.
There you go. Oh, that sounds
that's
good.
that's quite hard, actually. But anyway, I next time people meet me, I will say graph, not graph
Graph,
anymore.
good.
Because in Thai, we saw graph. This is normal, like graph, because it is like there's no syllable in that word. But for you, is a graph. That's quite nice. Thank you. Okay, go on. ทุก
Sure.
ท่านลอง
So
พูดตามนะคะ Okay, go ahead.
product revenue is easier, right? When you have more syllables, it's a little easier to
Mhm.
stretch the pausing out. But we're doing the same thing, whether it's short or long. Number 3, if you look at this, same as graph, you will
Mhm.
see Apple's revenue divided by product.
Revenue.
Good. Revenue. Perfect.
Product revenue is very musical. So that's first thing that I want to point out to our audience is you would feel a little bit embarrassed when you do this. I can feel it. I can feel like even me. I mean, you feel a little bit shy, like product revenue, because it sounds like you're singing when you're speaking, but it sounds pretty good actually if you get used to it, I guess. Go ahead. Take a look
Yeah,
at
and
this.
if you're speaking to an international audience, see,
Yes.
I use pausing, international audience, it will sound natural. So don't be shy, about that. Okay, next one, number 4. So I'm going to use the keyword for me is illustrate. So I'd like you to look at this graph that illustrates the revenue for Apple's products.
Illustrate.
Good.
I like this one. I think this because there is so much words. Like what? No, there is there's a lot of syllable. How do you say like a lot of words like
Syllables?
illustrate?
Yeah, syllables.
It's pretty easy.
Illustrate
because
3.
Yeah. So when
Yeah,
there's a lot of syllable, it's quite easy. Illustrates.
Yeah, it is much easier because on these words here, what you're doing is you're stretching the vowel. So graph is the vowel's ah. So you're going like that,
Graph.
And I know that can sound
Graph. I know. I need to open my mouth. Graph.
good. All right, next one, we're going to do this on dollar amount, right? So this chart illustrates the US dollar amount of Apple's revenue in billions. Dollar amount.
Dollar amount.
Good.
This one is 2 words, so it's not quite hard. The thing that
Right.
I learned is I need to open my mouth more, actually. Like graph, dollar amount. จริงๆต้องเปิดปากเยอะขึ้นเพราะว่าปกติ I think normally I don't open my mouth much. I mean, when I talk in Thai normally. So that's why it's a little bit hard. But if I open my mouth a bit, like dollar amount, it's easier, I guess, for me.
Sure. Yeah, you have to be a little more expressive. And I know people learning English, they describe English as like singing a little bit.
Yeah.
Or I know some people have said in speaking English, they sound like too dramatic, right? Because our voice has to go up and down a lot. And that's the pausing that they're hearing. Okay, last one, breakdown. This graph gives you a breakdown of Apple's product revenue.
breakdown. Oh,
Yeah, breakdown.
that's
The
actually
part
quite
that goes
different
up,
when I say breakdown. That's quite
breakdown,
different from what I normally say. I normally say breakdown.
and that's very
Breakdown.
flat, right? Very
Yeah,
flat.
because it's
And that's a
more
good point.
yeah.
Let me say it with no intonation. All right.
Okay.
I'll just say it flatly. This graph gives you a breakdown of Apple's product revenue.
Okay.
Now that's very flat and nothing is outstanding. But the
Okay.
audience needs that
Emphasis.
that
Okay.
intonation to separate information. Yeah, I'll say this one flatly. This graph shows you Apple's product revenue between 2007 and 2023. It's too fast, it's very flat, and the listener cannot pick up on the keywords if you don't have any intonation. But add the intonation, it sounds much more nicer. This graph shows you Apple's product revenue between 2000 and 2023. So it sounds nicer. You pick up on the keyword, product revenue. That's what I have to notice from that sentence is the word in the pausing is what the speaker wants me to catch more than any other word.
So for our audience, you need to emphasize with your thinking. So this is my take home message for me. Like, because normally I would say breakdown. This is like my normal when I present, like, just give you a breakdown of, because but when I say it in Thai, I probably wouldn't say breakdown. This is what I would say something else in Thai. I would say more thinking. So สำหรับคนไทยสำหรับคนที่ฟังอยู่ค่ะอาจารย์ว่าอย่างหนึ่งที่เราได้คือ take away message คือเราต้องเน้นอะไรสักอย่างในนั้นอ่ะเพราะว่าไม่งั้นคนที่ฟังเรา present จะไม่รู้ว่า key message คืออะไรอันนี้คือเป็นคำสำคัญซึ่งส่วนมากแล้วคำที่อาจารย์เนท่านเน้นก็คือจะเป็นคำที่เราแบบ so the word that you need to emphasize because I just compare each sentence there'sคุณวิลาสินี say that I am one of Nathan's students. I can confirm that intonation. I like this word. Intonation is very important when presenting to international audience. It helps catch the key points, especially with a Thai accent. ขอบคุณคุณวิลาสินีมากเลยนะคะ You are welcome to if you want to talk on microphone you're more than welcome นะคะคุณวิลาสินี
ค่ะได้ค่ะขอบคุณนะคะค่ะจริง
ได้
ๆ
เลย
เป็น
ค่ะ
ค่ะจริงๆเป็นลูกศิษย์อาจารย์เนธันมาหลายปีแล้วเหมือนกันค่ะแล้วก็
อ๋อ
คือต้องบอกว่ายากเหมือนกันตอนแรกที่เรียนกับอาจารย์เรื่อง intonation นะคะต้องปรับตัวเอง แบบaudience ที่เป็น international ค่อนข้างเยอะแล้วก็มันช่วยได้เยอะจริงๆค่ะเพราะว่าด้วยสำเนียงไทยเราเนี่ยมันยากที่เขาจะเข้าใจว่าเรากำลังสื่ออะไรเพราะเวลาคนไทยเราพูดภาษาอังกฤษนะคะมันจะเป็นแบบมันจะ flat ไปหมดเลยอะค่ะคืออาจารย์แก้ให้เยอะมากใช่ค่ะมัน flat ไปหมดเลยมันไม่มีแบบเสียงมันไม่มีเสียงสูงเสียงต่ำซึ่งต้องบอกว่าฝรั่งเขาจะแบบเหมือนเสียงสูงเสียงต่ำเป็นอะไรที่สำคัญกับเขามากๆค่ะเพราะว่าเขาจะจับประเด็นไอ้ตรงเสียงสูงเสียงต่ำนี่แหละค่ะแค่อยากคอนเฟิร์มเฉยๆค่ะ
ช่วยให้เราจับประเด็นเนาะเป็นคำนี้ดีมากเลยค่ะจะ
ใช่ค่ะ
เผื่อเพื่อนๆเราจะได้ฟังด้วย ดีเลยค่ะ ตอนนี้ขออนุญาตถามว่าแล้วตอนนี้คืออยู่แบบโทษนะคะอยู่เมืองไทยหรืออยู่ต่างประเทศคือที่ถามไม่ใช่อะไรอยากรู้ว่าอยู่ในเวลาไทยหรือเวลาต่างประเทศแค่นั้นเองค่ะ
อ๋ออยู่ต่างประเทศค่ะตอนนี้ยังช่วงบ่ายอยู่ค่ะ
อ๋อยังบ่ายยังโอเคอยู่โอเคค่ะ
ยัง
ขอบคุณ
ไม่ดึก
มาก
มาก
นะคะ
ค่ะ
ที่อุตส่าห์มา
ค่ะ
ฟังกันขอบคุณค่ะ
ค่ะ
คุณเจนวันนี้มีแบบ testimonial เยอะเนี่ย ขอบคุณมากเลย
Thank you.
ค่ะ intonation ชอบคำนี้มากเลยค่ะไม่อาจจะไม่ค่อยได้ใช้จริง intonation เดี๋ยวเก็บไว้ใช้ดีกว่าแต่ชอบคำนี้มากเลยว่าการเน้นสำเนียงเป็นการเน้น key message คราวนี้ถามเพิ่มเติมจากเนเธอร์ค่ะ so what you emphasize, like each one, like revenue illustrates the dollar amount. So all of this is not the same. So this one is noun, this one is verb, this one is verb. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Okay. How do you
where do you
choose what
know?
word?
Yes, how to choose? Yes.
Well, it can be very subjective. It's up to the speaker, right? What word do you feel that you should emphasize? But there's also a grammatical component to it. So, for example, here, this is different information. This is the date, right? So this is a good point to separate between your point and data, specific data. Pausing is used to separate the sentence grammatically also. And so notice the word which here. So which shows. In grammar, this is an adjective clause. So the pausing separates, take a look at this graph, right? That's the action. Which shows Apple's product revenue. That's the description of the graph. And between 2000, the date, all right? So you have the action, you have the which graph, and you have the date separated by pausing. So pausing can be speaker's choice, what you think is important, or it could be a way to separate the sentence grammatically. So the audience, the listener gets the details, the action, the which, and the time.
โอเค ก็สำหรับทุกท่านนะคะ คืออาจารย์ถามอาจารย์เนทันว่า where do we you know where do we choose to highlight เพราะบางบานก็เป็น revenue ก็เป็นนามใช่ไหม illustrate ก็เป็น verb อะไรอย่างเงี้ยแต่จริงๆอาจารย์เนทันก็บอกว่าจริงๆมันก็ต้องเลือกเนาะแล้วก็ดูตามบริบทว่าเราอยากจะเน้นอะไรเป็นหลักนะคะ What do you say again to which and time?
Yeah,
Could you
which is
repeat that?
describing the graph. Like, what graph are you talking about? Oh, the graph, which shows Apple's product revenue. So that's one piece of information. In grammar, if you look in a grammar book, we'd call this an adjective clause or a relative clause, same thing. You have things like who, which, that. So that's
Okay, we
separated.
lost you.
There you go. Go ahead.
We lost you. We lost your signal a bit. Could you say again about adjective clause and relative clause? Sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry.
We lost you.
So, sure. So adjective clause or relative clause, it's the same thing. And you know it because it has these words, who, which, or that. And it's describing graph. Which graph, right? So which shows Apple's product revenue is describing which graph. So between is talking about time. So you have three pieces of information. You divide that information with pausing.
Okay. Because it's different things. Who, which, that.
Different information. Yeah. Take a look at this graph. That's the action. Take a look at this graph. Which graph? Which shows us Apple's product revenue. That's part 2. And then the time between 2007 2023. That's another detail.
This is new for me, actually. Normally, because I guess for most of the people that are listening to us now, we normally we just divide on our nature. I think, I don't know, like for
That's
me.
fine. And that's fine.
Yes.
Yeah.
But for now we have
speaker's
something
choice.
but for now we have something concrete to actually divide a sentence to something that people could digest our information a bit by a bit by a bit. It's a very good storytelling. Very nice.
That's right. Let me show you falling. Falling is a little easier. Falling is at the end of the sentence. Oops, go back here. There we go. So falling appears at the end where you have a full stop. So 2023. 3. It goes up a little bit and then it goes down. 3. Number 3, if you look at this, you'll see Apple's revenue divided by product. So I had pausing here, and then I show the end by using falling here. This revenue product. Pausing, falling. This graph, it's revenue. I'd like you to look at this graph that illustrates the revenue from Apple's products. Products. All right, full stop. I know that the sentence is finished because I hear the falling, like a full stop. Right? And this chart illustrates the US dollar amount of Apple's revenue in billions. Billions. Goes up, bill, and then billions. Last one, revenue. Revenue. You go up on the stress syllable, revenue. This graph gives you a breakdown of Apple's product revenue. So this is a very common, very easy pattern to follow. Just pausing, falling, pausing, falling. Very easy to follow.
So pausing is here, right? Let me recap. So if you look at this, if you look at this and then pause,
Yes.
right? You will say Apple's revenue divided by
Revenue.
product. Revenue
Yeah. Yes.
divided by product. So
Yes.
so 3 jumps, like jump,
Yes.
pause, jump, pause, jump. สำหรับ
That's
ท่าน
right.
ที่ฟังอยู่อาจารย์รีแคปนิดนึงค่ะก็คือว่าอาจารย์เนี่ยท่านบอกว่าถ้าเราจะแบบดูแบบ natural ในการ intonation นะคะอันนี้จริงๆเป็นคำใหม่ของอาจารย์นะ intonation แล้วก็ให้แบบมีการ pause ตรงบริเวณที่มันมีคอมมาอะไรอย่างเงี้ยนะคะก็เข้ามาใช่ไหมคะ if you look at this or this right am I
This.
pronouncing
Oh yeah, sounds good. This.
if you look at this you see Apple's revenue ก็คือเหมือนกระโดดขึ้นแล้วก็พอจะจบละก็คืออีกรอบหนึ่งก่อนจะจบก็คือ divided by product แล้วก็ปึ้งจบ
Right. Pausing and falling are almost the same, except pausing, you gotta bounce at the end. So revenue, it bounces at the end. Revenue, where product, it goes down and it stops. Doesn't
because
go back up
this is the
again.
end so people know
It's
this
the
is
end.
the end of sentence
Right.
คือประเด็นมันเหมือนขออนุญาตrecap in Thai ก็คือมันเหมือนแบบสมมติว่าถ้าเกิดว่ายังไม่จบประโยคอะค่ะมันจะมีการงัดขึ้นเนาะ revenue แบบขึ้นมาหน่อย so it's not the end but if it's the end it's like product ก็คือ people know that this is the end of your sentence that's pretty good
Right.
I didn't know that normally I just listen to series and just copy paste what they're saying
Think about this. If you continue after this and you don't have the falling, what the listener will do, they will think that what you say next is connected to this. And then when they realize, oh, wait a minute, that's a different point. Now they're a little bit confused and they have to work it out in their mind that it's the last sentence is finished. And then they're already listening behind you, right? They're having to catch up. Because you make them do the full stop in their own mind first, right, before they can catch up. So without that, the listener is just going to think, oh, that's the same sentence. So they get confused. So by making a good falling, make it strong, product, not product, but product. The listener knows, okay, the next part is a new idea, a new sentence.
For you guys who are listening any comments or any questions ใกล้จะจบเซสชั่นแล้วนะคะอีก10 นาทีก็คือตอนเนี้ยถ้ามีใครอยากจะกดไมค์ถามอาจารย์เนทันนะคะหรือว่าให้ลองพูดให้อาจารย์เนทันฟังก็คือทางเราก็ยินดีนะคะเพราะว่าตอนนี้สบายๆเนาะอาจารย์เนทันทำกันบ้านมาให้เราเยอะมากเลยนะคะก็เผื่อว่ามีใครแบบสนใจนะคะแต่ถ้าไม่มีก็เดี๋ยวเราจะไปต่อกันเรื่อยๆนะคะแต่ถ้ามีกดยกมือถามได้เลยนะคะว่าเผื่อว่าใครที่คนที่มาฟังเนี่ยเข้าใจว่าทุกคนน่าจะมีเหมือนต้องพรีเซนต์งานเป็นภาษาอังกฤษแหละเนาะ I understand that if you are listening to this live, you probably need to present in English. So if you have any question that we could help, let us know.เชิญอาจาร
Would
ย์ต่อเลย
anyone
ค่ะ
like to try this sentence?
ใช่ มีใครอยากจะลองพูดให้อาจารย์เนท่านฟังไหมคะ
They got a comma here, full stop here.
ก็คือเราเรียนแล้วเนาะว่าคอมมาจะต้องแบบออกเสียงยังไงใช่ไหมขึ้นแล้วก็งัดขึ้นงัดขึ้นใช่ไหมแต่ว่าถ้า full stop ก็คือลง มีไม่เอ่ยจริงๆไม่ค่อยอยากให้เป็นอาจารย์เท่าไหร่เพราะอาจารย์พูดไปเยอะละเกรงใจอยากให้ท่านอื่นลองเล่นบ้างLet's see if there is any audience want to try.
Volunteers.
No volunteers. People are like
No
sleeping.
volunteers.
People are
Okay, well,
sleeping now. Okay, I'll
yeah.
try.
You want to try? Okay, so
Yes,
we're going to put
but if-
pausing here and falling on the 3.
Okay, so as you can see,
Good.
the iPhone is the source of Apple's largest amount of revenue, which
Good.
reached over 200 billions in 2023.
2023.
2023.
Yes, very good. Yeah, see, you did it very well. Yeah, you emphasize it very well.
I emphasize 200 billions because I like the word. I don't
Yeah.
care much about revenue. I care about like the number of revenue. That is just me.
Yeah, you could do that. That's a speaker's choice, right? You could say, which reached over $200 billion.
Billions.
Billion dollars
Billion
in
dollars.
2023. Sure. The speaker's choice.
ก็อันนี้สำหรับทุกท่านนะคะก็คืออาจารย์ท่านเอาตัวอย่างมาให้ดูก็คือจริงๆอาจารย์บอกว่าแบบอาจารย์อยากเน้นแบบอาจารย์ชอบคำบิลเลียนมันดูเยอะดีไม่ใช่ไม่ใช่ revenue เป็นรายได้ซึ่งอาจารย์ท่านก็บอกว่าก็คือแล้วแต่ประเด็นที่เราได้เรียนวันนี้ I think the most important lesson that for me my takeaway point and for you guys as well is you need to emphasize something in your sentence. This is what
it can't just be flat.
Yeah, but normally I normally speak flat. This is the first time that I think that maybe like I speak breakdown. I would emphasize some things, but not in every sentence. Like when it is really important to me, which is like one slice, maybe once a time. But if after this lesson, I probably would emphasize more before the comma. This is my learning point.
Good.
สำหรับท่านอื่นมีคำถามไหมคะ Do you have anything else to share with us or any you can share your contacts now or if you want to share anything before that let us know, it's fine.
Well, I know it's getting late, but yeah, if people like to know more, I have you can contact me with through line. So you can scan that or Ajahn Nathan Mills if you want to add my name. It's Ajahn Nathan Mills. There we go. So you'll find me on Skill Lane. I have a lot of courses there. There's a course on accent reduction and a few other things, TOEFL, business writing, phonics for parents. This is for Thai parents. If you want to read to your children, I help you build confidence. You can read to your children, even though English is not your first language. Yeah, so feel free to contact me if you want to ask any questions. I'm happy to do that. My one-on-one training is good for people in business, public speakers, actors, presenters, MC, or if you're a student, university or graduate school, and you need to take the IELTS or TOEFL. This type of training is good for the speaking parts as well. Yeah, so look forward to hearing from people if they'd like to reach out to me.
Thank you. You can put it up for a bit before
a
we're
little
done.
longer? Sure.
Yeah, sure. Just so people have time to take a photograph. ก็สำหรับวันนี้นะคะก็ประมาณนี้เดี๋ยวอาจารย์ก็ลาอาจารย์เนท่านไปเป็นภาษาอังกฤษแล้วกันนะคะจะได้สองภาษาแต่ว่าสำหรับทุกท่านก็คือยังไงถ้าอยากพิมพ์อยากคุยอะไรก็เข้าไปดูเรียนกับอาจารย์เนท่านได้นะคะหรือว่า ทักทายอาจารย์เนทันทางไลน์ก็ได้นะคะ so yeah, it is a great session actually. You actually did very good homework. Oh, Kun Om said not expensive. Kun Om said yes. People, that's a good point, Kun Om, because I think what people are wondering now is this expensive, So Kun Om said it's not expensive, but honestly, if you are taking, IELTS, or if you are public speaking, probably you would probably need English to do well in your career. So this should be a good investment. And again, like every time people come into our page, Ajahn Nathan didn't sponsor me to to do anything like this. This is I really like doing collaboration with Ajahn Nathan. We did a collaboration before he went to USA for a bit. We have course on accent reduction, on not accent reduction. We have online course about on graph reading, which Ajahn Nathan helped me create it. So I can confirm that if you guys are looking for someone to coach you to talk better in English or present better, having confidence in everyday business English, Jonathan would be your top of mind and good choice for my own
เดี๋ยว
opinion.
แชร์ให้นิดนึงนะครับ
ค่ะ
พอดีถ้าสมมติอยากจะพัฒนา let me speak in Thai นะครับอาจารย์เน็ตโอ
ค่ะ
เคถ้าอยากพัฒนาภาษาอังกฤษการ accent และ intonation ต่างๆ ผมเชื่อเลยว่าอาจารย์ไทยสอนไม่ได้
อืม
สิ่งที่
ค่ะ
อาจารย์สอน อาจารย์ไทยทั่วไปที่แบบสอนได้ดีนะ ผมก็เคยเรียนมาหลายท่านละ
อืม
เขาไม่
ค่ะ
เขาไม่ได้รู้ลึกซึ้งเป็น native จริง
อืมอืมอืม
ๆ พวกนี้เกิดจากการเป็น native
อืมอืมอืม
เขา
ค่ะ
ติด
คุณ
มา
โอ
จากตัวเขาไม่ได้มาเรียนทีหลัง เหมือน
อื
คน
ม
ไทยเรียน
อืมอืมอืม
เพราะฉะนั้นมันแตกต่างกัน แล้วก็
อื
ถูก
ม
กับคนไทย ผมเรียนกับเขาเป็นอาจารย์ผมมา20 ปีแล้ว
อืม
แล้วก็ราคาถ้าเทียบกับคนไทย ผมว่าไม่แตกต่าง เพราะผมดูหลาย
อืม
คน แล้วก็เทียบ
อื
กับ
ม
อาจารย์ที่อาจารย์สอน intonation accent เนี่ย
อื
เขาสอนเป็น
ม
แพ็กเกจสักพักยาวๆประมาณสักครึ่งปี
อืมอืมอื
ถูก
ม
กับคนไทยครูท่านอื่นเยอะ อย่างนี้แล้ว
อื
กัน
มค่ะ
ก็อันนี้ไม่ได้มาช่วยอาจารย์นะคือมาช่วยคนที่อยากจะ improve เพราะอาจารย์เขาขายได้อยู่แล้วเขามีนักเรียนเยอะอยู่แล้ว
อืม
แต่ว่าแค่มาแนะนำคนที่อยาก improve เหมือนผมที่ตั้งใจเรียนหาโค้ชดีๆ ก็แนะนำสิ่งดีๆให้มากกว่า
อืมค่ะ ได้เล
ป
ย
ระมา
ค่ะ
ณ
คุ
นั้
ณ
น
โอม ขอบคุณคุณโอมมากเลยค่ะ คุณโอม
ค
อั
รั
น
บ
นี้ถามได้ไหมคะ คุณโอมนี่เซฮายจากไหนคะ ไทยหรือว่าไม่ใช่ไทยคะ
อยู่ไทยฮะอยู่ไทย
อยู่ไทยเวลา
เป็น
ไท
อาย จารย์
เวลา
สอนผมตั้งแต่อยู่อเมริกา ตั้งแต่ผมอยู่ University เลย ตอนนี้ผมก็40แล้ว ก็20 ปีแล้วที่แกสอนผมมา
อืม มีคุณอั้นบอกว่าแบบ agree with คุณโอมค่ะ วันนี้อาจารย์เนทันมีคนมาเชียร์เยอะ มีแต่ลูกศิษย์รักค่ะ ได้
ค
คุ
รั
ณ
บ
โอม ขอบคุณมาก ๆ เลย
Thank
ค่ะ
you.
ถ้างั้นก็thank you guys for our session today. It was a very ต้องอย่างแรกต้องขอบคุณอาจารย์เนทันก่อนค่ะbrilliant conference. Many thanks to you, teacher. ขอบคุณค่ะ คุณพานินีเป็นลูกศิษย์อาจารย์เนทันไหมคะ